Alice Osborn, and I'm fascinated by death, family, and pop culture. Thanks, everyone, for coming. And I'm going to read you some poems. And some are published, and some are not. But all of them have been written in the last 6 months, so they're all pretty fresh. This first poem is called Written by Herself. So you get to know a little bit about me. I was born in D.C. before home rule in the days between Thanksgiving and Watergate, when our cherry tree stood strong minus the blight, and we didn't have the cardinals gorging on seed next to the maple and the chicken wire fence. I was born full of dark hair and colic, with a mole on my belly button my mother didn't know existed till I was 6. I was born to a sci-fi movie of black holes and quasars, cooing mourning doves and trains sounding over the Springfield tracks. I was born into parents of the silent generation who never understood a daughter who could read minds and dust motes slipping away on humid July mornings. I was born into strip malls and superhighways, big box stores, self-pump gas, rabbit ears, and Rio Navy wine. I carried green shag carpet into my toes and orange plaid wallpaper into my fingernails. I was born a bandit in the fractions of a slideshow, in the layers of an artichoke during a dream, of white solid dashes leaping on the highway under snow forts while singing Crackling Rose. I ran many miles before I was born, alone. This new poem is called Permanent and Pressed. I also have a fascination with domestic duties. I'm doing a domestic little series here. Permanent and pressed. On Monday and Tuesday, I'm the churning dryer that hums and shakes, gathering momentum for a flush heat to dry even a rolled up sleeve tamped down with pebbled soil and bits of bark. I'm the overloaded closet rod, crimping and buckling under the weight of vintage peacoats, gray with dust, torn storage boxes with ugly pink flowers, and folded Christmas sweaters with sad bells never worn. By Wednesday, I'm the runaway steamroller, ironing the long khaki skirt that can't stay pressed despite heat, pressure, and patience. Thursday, I'm the wet sock full of sand, a fuzzy gold bug that needs to be washed again, although it's full of Tide smell. Repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse. On Friday, I'm a striped silver scarf, fraying at the ends, bunched into a drawer with the others. No peeking, no Isadora lengths or silk here, just 85% cotton and 13% spandex with a blend of the unknown. By Saturday, my formerly known maroon shirt with wash stripes down the front and a salad dressing stain earned last Thanksgiving. Not all of me can fit in the washer. There's always next week to cycle and sort the load. Okay, now we're going into my pop culture death. I wanted to give a splattering so it wasn't all depression. Okay. I'm fascinated, I love the number 7, and my son is 7 this year. We have a poetry group in Raleigh that's called Poetry 7, and I named the group. And I'm very happy that I'm the founder of that name. So this is called Challenger 7. And there are 7 astronauts that go on all the shuttle flights. Did the Pleiades convene, heads covered, arms linked, 73 seconds after liftoff on that freezing January Monday when the O-rings fried like onions at Cape Canaveral? Did the 7 sisters mourn the 7 hunched in the cockpit's 2-minute and 45-second free fall back to Earth? Their fall lasted twice as long as their flight. 7 icicles hang from the booster rockets, sharp enough to slice arms, shattering phone booth windows, leaving only bald orchids, their 7 petals falling on ash and snow. The Y in the plumie acacia tree carried the charred mourning doves, the astronauts huddled in their last moments. Judy keyed Bach's Requiem on her baby grand, and Krista wondered if he would remarry another. Dick saw his cold knuckles around his grandfather's wood stove 30 years ago, and Ron saw the mouth of the Yannan River consuming him like an eel. Greg wasn't with them anymore. No one wanted to be named after a crater on Venus. During the long search, the recovery team found only 6. losing the blue astronaut suit as quickly as they found him. The Pleiades prayed for the divers to see a scallop boat gathering, the last one home. Okay. And this is a lighter poem that I just wrote. And I wanted to write a poem about my mother-in-law meeting a famous person. So here it is. It's not about death. Bonnie and Frank. We all know Bonnie, my mother-in-law, adores many things, including her grandchildren, cheap wine, Battlestar Galactica, and Frank Langella. She's loved Frank the longest since she was 19, then a married mother of 2, unsure about her calling, unlike Frank, the Bayonne, New Jersey boy, soon to be a master of the stage and screen with a fake European accent. His quiet charm ensnares you, especially girls from Queens who've never heard anyone talk like that. And oh my God, those eyes! Her longtime husband accepts he can't compete with Frank's hypnotism, so he shrugs his shoulders and asks what's for dinner. She's seen him in Dracula 27 times, once groaning with the other women in the theater and couldn't wait to catch him on TV, selling to the country during a nightly news break. I love New York, especially in the evening. Maybe the brown leaves soaked up enough sunshine and shoe leather to make Frank turn around, his overcoat furling as Bonnie shouted his first name on 5th Avenue in Soho. He's played Dracula, Nixon, Skeletor, Sherlock Holmes, and Shakespeare, Superman's Perry White, editor of the Daily Planet. But Bonnie was the only one there in front of the Lycée Bistro reading her best lines to a flattered, balding 70-year-old, these days not expecting anyone to recognize him crossing the street. She had her 7 minutes in heaven, all the time willing him not to blend in or surrender to his characters. All she wanted was to speak her mind, tell him she had followed his career, was first in line to see his movies, his plays, and pore over his reviews. And then she let him go, all engorged, spun tight with white, frank energy on the train ride home. She says she'll never forget it, but she dies. This is a poem also about death. And then I'll leave you with one about life. Early. I'm the last one he sees before my train hits him on a stretch between Cedar Rapids and Chicago on Lincoln's birthday. His dark brown eyes snap in the inked jewel of gravel and air, iron and wood, me and him. I'm his brother, priest, boss, devil god, tricked executioner. His loose body, brow forward, ignores the descending crossing gates. One hand extends a bottle, the other clutches a brown paper bag. All of him whispers in the shallow pockets of his leather jacket. He whips his head around to face me, and I only hear my mother saying, "It's better to be late in this world than early in the next." 1,000 parrots screech at once. My whistle cancels him. His equation clears off the books. Debts repaid. Later, his rock ports mark the death spot as he flew 50 feet from the cracked rubber heels, the tongue bunched into the sweat-stained insole, while his own tongue licks the belly of my train.